Great.
I do have one more question, but I don't know.
I'm afraid, and I still have some fifths.
You do. Okay.
you can't even ask me the question with a straight face. I am definitely scared.
All right, what's up, roommates? It's your girl Tembi, and today we've got a jack of all trades stepping into the shade room. He played football at Stanford. He ran for president. He literally saved someone from a burning building, and he gave a 25-hour speech. But today, he's stepping into the shade room for what's clearly going to be his biggest accomplishment yet, making a dessert. Mr. Cory Booker.
Oh my God, I'm scared. All right.
How are you doing today?
I'm just excited to meet you in person.
Oh my God, I'm excited to
You know how
meet
you see somebody from afar,
Yeah.
and now you get to hang out with them. So
well,
thank you.
you're gonna have the best time.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward.
What do I call you? Cory, Senator,
Cory,
Mr. Booker,
100% Cory.
You don't like Senator?
I feel blessed to be where I am,
Yes.
but I know I'm just me,
Right.
and I just feel a lot more comfortable when people call me Cory.
I love that. You could call me Cory too.
All right. But Tembe is such a beautiful name.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I was blown away when I read more. It got deep up in your bio. I love that you
doing research, y'all.
I was. I wanted to be on a level playing field because
Right.
you clearly jumped up in my space.
Right, you said I'm gonna get in your business
But
too.
I love that you come from Zimbabwe. You grew up in
Yes,
Zimbabwe. It is
I did.
such a beautiful country.
It is.
Yeah, I had a chance to go there as a senator to do some sort of diplomatic back and forth with the
Right.
new government,
My dad was a diplomat.
which blows me away.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Okay, so we're gonna make like a little vegan dessert today. I hear you're vegan.
I am a vegan. Are you a vegan?
No, I
No?
like
do you,
all
do you
the
sometimes
things.
like
No.
no?
No.
Not even when you eat a salad?
No.
You put some
Yep. I typically like my salad with some type of protein.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not tofu though.
No. Oh no.
Like some kind of animal protein.
Animal protein. There you go. Specifically.
Did you know that blacks overrepresent as vegans?
Really?
Yeah, higher percentages of African Americans than white Americans are vegans.
Really?
Yeah. You know, look, first of all, vegan does not mean healthy.
Okay.
I've been a junk food vegan and gotten on and off the wagon. Vegans definitely doesn't mean healthy. Healthy eating is conscious eating.
Right.
But I became a vegan just because I was a competitive athlete, as you said, and I just used to always experiment with my diets.
Nothing about it ever makes you want to go back to like animal products,
No.
some ribs, some eggs, something.
When I'm at, it's so funny. So the Congressional Black Caucus it's an unbelievable thing, and most of the House of Representatives, this is the most black people we've ever had in the Senate in the history of America. So sometimes I'll go over and sit with the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, and they rotate who brings lunch one time. And I always say that one of the most dangerous things I've ever done in my life was bringing vegan food to the CBC meeting. Martha Fudge, who was a great congresswoman at that time, threatened my life.
I bet I would too. I'm right with her.
Yeah,
right
she's like, where are my ribs?
So, Roomies, we're making a vegan Snicker bar, basically.
I was looking at this. It's going to be easy to do. They're going to follow along with
Okay,
us.
yeah, you guys are going to follow along with us. I don't really know. I hope Cory knows what he's doing
I
because
follow-
I'm taking your lead, actually.
Okay, good. I follow lots of vegan people, and I've seen this done before.
So have you made
I have
anything
never
like
made
this
this,
before?
no,
Okay, so
no.
I was right. It's going to be your greatest accomplishment.
Yes.
And Roomies, you can find the recipe on Instagram at Polished CEO. Check her out. We're using her recipe today. But yeah, let's
And I hope people will
get
post
going.
and tag me on what you did, because I would love to see people who make this.
Yeah, Roomies, make the recipe and tag Senator Booker, and he'll repost you.
I didn't
On
promise that.
on
Now
his
you-
Instagram story, he's like, I didn't say all that.
Oh, that's good on my Instagram story. That'd be interesting to put a
On
couple of these
Instagram
up.
stories.
All right, show me what you got.
All right, let's
roommates.
go.
Okay, so here we go. So there's 3 layers to this. I don't know if they're one at a time, but let's go. In a bowl, combine almond flour, coconut oil, maple syrup, vanilla extract, salt until the mixture forms a sticky dough.
Okay,
So we have a bowl.
Right, and here's almond flour. And
Okay.
then I'm not great with, I think this is enough. This is like what, a
I
quarter?
think put it in. I think put the whole
Yeah,
thing in.
okay,
I
we're
think,
gonna
I
put
think
a
we
whole
measured
thing
this
in.
out beforehand.
Okay.
2 tablespoons of 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil. Squeeze it.
Okay.
Squeeze again. Okay, that's
I
good.
promise I know how to cook.
Okay, go ahead.
Just
give it
not
again.
this.
Go ahead. Okay. Okay. Now.
Okay, what next?
And now we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Okay.
Now, to be a little more generous with that.
With the maple syrup, you like maple syrup?
No, I just think you were just being a little stingy with the coconut oil.
It said a tablespoon.
Yeah, but you got to overflow a teeny bit.
Okay.
You got to let it over. Oh, there you go. Stop.
You said overflow.
I said overflow a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay.
Okay, what's next?
Vanilla extract. 1 teaspoon. That's the small one here.
That's the small one.
Okay, go. Go.
Okay, 1 teaspoon.
That's
there we go.
Perfect.
That was perfect.
That was a perfect pour.
And
okay, now.
That's it?
Oh, we got a little bit of salt.
Right here.
1/4 teaspoon. All right, that's good.
I think that's a quarter.
That's good,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, well, that was half of a quarter.
No, we're gonna salvage that.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Did you grow up in a family like if I burnt the toast, you're not throwing anything away, right? You're scraping it off.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't waste food. We don't waste alcohol.
If I put like the jelly with just a little waste alcohol.
Do you drink?
I do not drink.
No?
I have never drank.
Ever?
I have never had. The most I might have had is like the church, when you're taking communion and it wasn't the grape juice somehow. Never
Like
did.
you just stayed away from it? Like you didn't
I don't
like
know.
it?
I literally don't know why. My parents drank. My brother drinks. It literally. Why did I make that decision? I have to do some therapy to figure out why.
Wow.
I was an athlete.
Like you've never even just like taken a sip of a beer?
I've taken a sip of a beer before,
Okay.
And then I wonder why people drink it. And somebody says it's an acquired taste. I go, well,
Yeah.
why would I acquire a taste for this?
That is hilarious.
But look, I think that I was an athlete, and I felt the equation of my life didn't need more variables in it. Inquiring minds want to know.
How do we mix this? Do you want to mix it?
Yes, yes.
Do you remember the last time you ate meat? And what it was?
Yeah, I remember exactly the moment. The last non-vegan meal I had was at an IHOP on Bergen Street in Newark.
Wow.
And I knew that it was time for me to like let go of the dairy and the eggs.
Like, did you feel sick or something?
No, I just knew too much.
You think we could ever get to a place where there's like real food?
So I joined the Ag Committee really for that purpose, is try to return our food system back to our heritage, the farmers themselves, to the farm workers and how they're exploited and now under Trump being treated not as essential workers, all the way down to the end consumers. Our food system is broken. And so I joined the Ag Committee to really start fighting for policies for real food that could help people in communities across this country who live in food deserts, who have access to fast foods, but not substantive, nutritious foods. But even more than that, we've been able to win some big battles and putting more money in to help farmers transition to more regenerative farming, to more holistic farming, and that's been really exciting, except for this Trump administration now.
Right. So do you feel like someone like RFK, is he helping or hurting that? Because there's a lot of people who feel like he's like saving the food industry and protecting public health, and there's other people who feel like he's putting public health in jeopardy.
So you could take parts of RFK's speeches and line them next to mine, and we overlap. But you can't tell me that you're making America healthy again when you're cutting food safety inspectors, when you're cutting school lunch programs, when you're attacking the programs that farmers were using to go to more regenerative, healthier practices, when you're attacking Meals on Wheels for our seniors, when you're attacking health care, when you're attacking prenatal care. How could you tell me you're a Maha person and you're watching all of this that's happening to hurting our children, hurting families, hurting our seniors, giving them less access to food, less access to health care, and you're claiming that you're making America healthy again?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think we got this to a point.
I know, you're so good.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next step here?
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll let you go. I'll hold this steady.
Oh, thank you. So something else I wanted to talk to you about. So you literally saved someone from a burning building.
Yes, but I want to say this to you, that God saved us both.
Amen.
Yeah, I came home and my neighbor's building was on fire, and as my security detail was escorting them out, a mom was just basically saying, my daughter's still in there. I said, are you absolutely sure? And so we got up there and it was consumed with fire. My security detail tried to drag me out, but I was yelling for the daughter and I finally heard her voice. And so, yeah, just ran through the part of the house that had gone on fire. But when I got in, my exit was then closed. And I couldn't find her. The smoke had so filled the room. And I always remember they say drop and when the fire, but even dropping, I couldn't do anything but breathe ash. So when she called my name, I felt like it was God. Like I just, that moment of surrender, and then suddenly you hear a voice that saves you. It was hers. And I grabbed her and I just said, there's only one way out. And it was through the fire. But the way I was holding her, all the plastic was melting from above. And so she took most of the burns, got her out. Thank God she was okay for a few years, but then she passed away years later.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Who would you not say from a burning building?
This is the thing about me, is you come for my people, I will fight you.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of people right now that who are championing cutting healthcare from people, cutting food from people, support for the disabled, programs for the seniors, programs for our veterans. I am going to fight you, but I will never ever choke off any hope for redemption. I got to serve with John Lewis, this hero of the civil rights movement, who then went on to be a congressperson. And he told me this story about, he was in his congressional office, a man asked to come see him, elderly man, with his grandson. He came in, he started weeping to him and said, I beat you. He was one of the people that beat him down at one of his protests. Wow. And he said, I'm here, I want to ask for your forgiveness. And he started weeping. And John told me, Congressman Lewis told me, that he looked at the grandson, looked at him, and he started crying too. He started feeling it. They hugged, and he said, I forgive you, I forgive you. And so how many of us would forgive somebody, even if it was years later, who beat us down? I think what my heroes teach me is that defend people, fight against injustice, but never close off your humanity, the humanity of the other person, because all of us in our lives have needed grace. All of us have needed pathways to redemption. And as a guy that does a lot of work in criminal justice reform, and I see people have done really bad things, none of us should be defined by the worst thing that we've done, and all of us should know that we have a potential to rehabilitate themselves. And what I know all over New Jersey, guys who've been put in jail for doing really bad things have often come out and been the best heroes in our communities for helping others. I do believe in prison reform. But if you can forgive the guy who might have been involved in murder or some violent crime.
Well, maybe not the murderers.
Come on now. You're 21 years old. Your brain hasn't even stopped. You're caught in your whole bunch of bad situations in which you make bad choices. Does that mean you're done? These should be there's no throwaway people.
Like no serial killer types.
No, I mean that's why we have life imprisonment.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but and know this, by the way, I'm against the death penalty.
Okay.
Because we know statistically you're much more likely to be killed if you're African American than if you're not. If they've made mistakes before. In fact, black people in the system are 4 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted than someone who's not. So understanding how the systems, we have not eradicated injustice, we have not established fairness for all. You've got to have space in the system, pay your debt, but there's got to be a pathway to redemption. And we have a justice system that right now treats you better if you're rich and guilty than if you're poor and innocent.
Would you run again?
I'm running for re-election right now for the Senate, but I would definitely consider running again.
Yeah, for president?
Yeah.
I love that. What if you could give like an executive order right now, if you're president, or even just as yourself, if you could, what would it be?
I mean, right now, for me, most Americans in this country, most Americans, when I say that, I mean half of our country, if they had a car accident or something and the cost was over $1,000, they would have to go in debt. It would upend their financial lives. And so one of the first things I would simply do is try to say, I'm gonna reverse all of these things Donald Trump has done that has put your life into chaos. These tariffs that he's done on neighbors like Canada or whatever, that didn't hurt Canada as much as it hurt, as one of my small businesses in New Jersey said. And not when I say small business, they employ dozens and dozens of people, but this is like an extinction level event for them, and closing their businesses and driving up costs for Americans. So one of the first things I would do on economic policy would say, we're ending these horrific trade wars where Donald Trump is trying to claim that somehow this is going to help America while it's hurting Americans at a time that too many Americans are hurting. And so let's start with the 2 most important things for any family is, am I safe and am I economically strong? That's the first, before you can get to anywhere, that's the bottom of Maslow's pyramid. Am I safe and am I strong? And safety begins with, does my family, if we get sick, do we have health care? Safety begins, is my child, when they go to school, going to be safe there? Because we have this perversion in our country. When I grew up, we had fire drills. Now we have more active shooting drills. Teaching children how to hide. And when you teach a child how to hide, you're giving them subtle messages, we can't protect you. The strongest nation in our land.
So what's the deal with just like not like more gun control? Because like, why is that such a thing to where we
So let me
can't
tell you something.
seem to get to
Let me
the
tell you
other
something
side?
that should piss you off.
I'm already pissed.
Okay, is before you even get to this thought, do we need new gun laws? We don't enforce the gun laws that we have.
So I did want to see, because you did go to Stanford
Yes.
and played football there.
Yes.
You are a tight end.
Yes.
You have a bachelor's in political science.
Yes.
Master's in sociology.
Yes.
You graduated from Yale Law School.
Yes.
You saved someone from a burning building. You once did a 10-day hunger strike.
Yeah.
You lived in a tent.
That was all
that
part of
correct?
the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a tough area that nobody seemed to care about, and the residents were demanding that I do something. And I decided I'm going to go right into the territory of the fellas and declare a hunger strike, ask people to live with me under the tent, and it turned out to be an extraordinary experience.
So, and then you also did a 25-hour speech.
Yes.
Filibuster.
Yes.
Are you Superman? Like what is going on?
I am flawed man, imperfect man.
What made you do that?
And
And for the people who don't know what a filibuster is and like the purpose, like how would you briefly describe that?
so when I'll just give the quick and dirty of it is that
Okay.
when the president got inaugurated, day one, he started doing things to put people's health care in jeopardy, undermine the Social Security Administration, cut food stamps, Meals on Wheels, all these things that were making Americans frustrated. And people were saying to me, what are you doing? And I kept saying, well, it's hard. We don't have a majority in the Senate. And I was sort of describing the dynamics of why it was hard to stop these things. And folk in New Jersey were not happy, still not happy. You need to do more. You need to take some risks. And folk in Newark were getting up in my face, like, are you an American or Americant? Come on, man. So I went back to my staff after a couple months and say, you know what, constituents are right. We need to,
25 hours.
so that's when I said, you know what, let's go to the floor and announce that this is not normal times, and I'm going to take a normal action. And I said, I'm going to hold this floor as long as I'm physically able.
How did you prepare for that?
Physically, I fasted for 3 days.
Wow.
And stopped drinking for like 25 hours because I didn't want to have to go to the bathroom. And then intellectually, my team and I prepared over 1,000 pages because we didn't want to just read Green Eggs and Ham. We wanted to read the stories of Americans, center them, stories of Americans and what they are saying, and all across the political spectrum. We wanted to let Republicans who are saying this is wrong for Trump to be doing this. We wanted think tanks on the right to be saying this makes no economic sense, and then the voices of people who are having their health care cut and more. So we prepared that physically, intellectually, and then spiritually, a lot of prayer.
And the people who are there, they can't leave either, or can they leave?
So when I'm holding the floor, I can't yield. You have
can't,
to
right.
stay there. You can't eat. You can't go to the bathroom. You just have to stand there.
What was that like? Did you need to go to the bathroom at any point, or did you feel hungry? Like,
I think the problem, the good and the bad of it is I dehydrated myself, so I didn't have to go to the bathroom, but you need water, right?
could you drink water?
No, you could drink water, but then I was afraid in the first 20
'cause you
hours.
didn't want to use the bathroom.
So I had to stop, so it made my feet numb and the blood circulation bad, hands cramping up by the end. So it was a physical ordeal, but the body has limits, the spirit has none. And the last 5 hours, people really carried me. The chamber was full. I was getting notes from comments people were making who were watching. I mean, it got 340 million likes on TikTok, and
340 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of millions.
Yeah, and so, but folks were incredible.
Would you do that again?
So my team then after that said that we can't stop. What's next? And so me and Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Democrats in the House of Representatives, we did a full day. We got up before the sun went up. It was actually on my birthday, and we just sat on the Capitol steps and invited people to come out and join us and to talk about what this bill would do to Americans. And we were blown away by, again, millions of people tuned in to watch. And we just sat. It was like a sort of an all-day sit-in. I've never sat like that for 12 plus hours.
What did you after? What did you eat? Like, were you
after the 25 hours?
Yeah.
The first thing I ate was a banana.
A banana? I would have broken my veganism at that point. Having a burger.
Well, first of all, not eating for 3 days, I needed something easily digestible.
Yeah.
Lots of potassium, lots of...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Did you sleep the next day all day, or you just...
I was really wired after that.
Wow.
So I didn't sleep that well.
All right, Roomies, so we've put everything into the food processor, the dates, the peanut butter, the maple syrup, the hot water, all that good stuff, and we put it in here, and now we're gonna spread it on our little frozen piece that we made earlier. So what would you say is the most hood thing about you?
The most hood thing about me? Wow. I mean, do I have to tell the truth?
Yes.
Look, I definitely am one of those guys. Look, I just love my neighborhood. Let's just put it that way. I'm the only senator that lives in a black community, working class. You know, we don't sort of confuse wealth with worth in Newark.
That's beautiful.
And so I live in a low-income neighborhood, black and brown community, and I'm happy when I'm hanging out in my community. In fact, my favorite thing to do is when these reporters in Washington want to interview you, I say, why don't you just come to my neighborhood?
Yeah. Why do you stay like in the low-income neighborhood? You could obviously, you know, afford to live outside of there. Why is it important to you to still be in that area? So
look, everything I am was because a community took a risk on me when I first started. And I still will never forget, we now name the street after her, but the tenant president and some of the projects, I moved to Newark on a tough street, Martin Luther King Boulevard, right across from some brick towers was the name of the housing complex. And Miss Virginia Jones changed my life. I wanted to be a nonprofit leader, and she's just like, the city's corrupt, we need somebody in there that can really represent us, and we think it should be you. And I'm like, I just got here. And she's like, no, you're gonna do it.
Now, do you think they're saying, like, Democrats, that you guys don't really have a strong contender for the next election? Do you think that's true? And do you think that Kamala Harris should run again? And do you think she has a higher chance of winning this time around because of what's currently going on with the presidency?
So I think that there is an exciting bench of Democrats coming up. This president is the last baby boomer president we will ever have. The baby boomer leadership of Congress is slowly leaving the stage, and you see new young leaders coming up.
To that point, do you feel like there should be an age limit on the presidency? And what age do you think that should be, if so?
You know, I was in Atlanta at a church. You know how the pastor says, whose birthdays it is, and everybody, like 10 people stood up. And there's this one person that look at it and they go, how old are you? And I'm thinking this person's like 90 years old. They look, and they're like, I'm 60 today. Wow. And I'm like, whoa. And then this other person stands up, they look like they're 60, and she goes, I'm 92. And I'm like, the devil's a liar.
Were they different races?
No, both black. It was a black church.
Oh, because I was going to say, you know, black don't crack.
I agree with you. Right. I agree with you on that. But I guess my point as I'm making is, for this person at 60 that looked like they had lived pretty hard, you know, so age is a number, but there definitely is a problem that people often stay too long. Like as I was leaving, an older senator was coming out and looked at me hard and said, make sure you leave here while you still have a third act. Don't let them carry you out. And a lot of people stay too long. But then there's some of the elders in the Senate that I couldn't see how the Senate could function without them. I'm happy that when I go to sit with the Congressional Black Caucus, you have young people like Maxwell Frost, and then you have statespeople like Congressman Clyburn, all sitting together from millennial or Gen Z with him all the way to baby boomers. And there's something about having that table benefiting in the same way that we, at the founding of this country, you had older people like Ben Franklin, and you had
but it's like dated. Like I feel like some of the things in place are dated, and also we're kind of also going back in time right now with the current president. You know, we're just reversing a lot of things that I feel like took a long time to like push forward.
Are you kidding me? I mean, I had to ask John Lewis what it was like to have the Voting Rights Act gutted by the Supreme Court. We won Roe v. Wade, and now they've gutted that.
Right.
We have voting rights, we have reproductive rights, we have civil rights. There's so many things that the Supreme Court is doing.
Educational rights to
Educational
an
rights,
extent,
yeah. I mean, getting rid of the Department of Education, which one of the main reasons it was established was for children with disabilities to make sure they get an equal access to education. It was one of the main functions, not to mention helping people afford college, which for African Americans is truly a big burden or barrier often to higher education and improving your life. So we are in a time of retrenchment and retraction, but this is not the first time.
Yeah. Do you support the concept of reparations for Black people?
So I'm actually the sponsor of the bill in the Senate that we should study the issue, bring the best minds together, because when you say that word, it immediately is polarizing. There's some people think that, oh, you're going to take money from me and give it to them, when they don't understand that there's so many ways to approach this issue. And in fact, there are some communities like Florida, red state, that saw after Rosewood, they saw, wait a minute, there are still survivors of that incident that we can do something about. There are colleges, Georgetown University found out, wait a minute, when our university was literally about to go out of existence and was broke, we sold slaves. So maybe understanding that history, we should do something to address that legacy now.
In your opinion, what are your thoughts on the American education system?
It is the best education system and the worst education system.
Okay, elaborate on that.
We have a fractured system around the country where some districts have lots of resources because they're funded by property taxes. So a wealthier district has some schools that should be the envy of the planet. And then we have other districts that often have less resources because of low property tax values. It's stunning in America that you can go and the quality of education you get is determined by the zip code that you live in. And so how do we create a system in which everybody has access to a world-class education? That should be the standard for America. And I think there's some things that local governments and states have to do to step up to that. And there's some things that federal government. But can't we all in America agree that no child should go to a substandard school, that we should have the highest levels of expertise? And one of the best things I think we can do about it is paying teachers significantly more, because now we're not often drawing the people we would into the profession. In other countries, it's so competitive to become a teacher, and they pay significantly more than we do. We now have teachers that teach in communities they can't even afford to live in.
From my experience as someone who's experienced both American education and outside of American education, I will say it. Sorry to the Americans, I love y'all. I will say when I moved here, I was at a high school level learning things I'd learned in like the 5th grade in Zimbabwe, right? So it's like, I was like what is going on here, you know? So that was very interesting. And you know, because this is also one of the places where it's like college is so expensive and, you know, all these things, but some people at a college level don't even know theirs and theirs, you know, and I see that frequently. So I was just interested in like your perspective.
Well, let me give you something worse. When I travel and I talk to people in other countries, they're like, they don't understand how America does this thing. So we think of education as starting in kindergarten. But the brain development, which is the most valuable natural resource any country can have, is the brain power of their children. Because we're now in a global knowledge-based society, and the country that cultivates the genius of their children is the country that's going to do the best. So we have the worst prenatal care amongst Western nations. So we have the highest preemie births rates, so some of the highest maternal mortality rates, because often we don't support that development of the mother with the child until they're born. Then we don't have paid family leave. People are shocked in other countries that people are expected back in work in 2 weeks. When that bonding, we know so much about the mental development of the children to have that bonding time with a parent or parents. So we push people back to work. We don't have maternal leave like other countries do.
And in the school system, they teach to test. That was like the biggest difference I noticed too. Like, I always joke that my education level is like at a Zimbabwean first year of high school education, because I didn't learn, and I graduated from college here, but like I feel like I didn't really learn anything new because like they teach to test. So it's like they'll give you the study guide, and the exam is like the exact thing on the study guide, and so it's just like you're not really retaining information.
And I was guilty of one of these people that said, oh, we should have standards and tests, but the more I talked to teachers and understood is that they're not giving the kind of broader education. But the last point I wanted to make in that chronology, bad prenatal care cost us more money because now you have premature births and like not paid, sort of maternal leave. But the next thing is, in this country, we make childcare so expensive that most families can't afford it. High quality childcare in most states costs more than tuition at the state college.
Where do you stand on student loan forgiveness?
I think one of the worst things we do to ourselves as a society is to put people in often lifelong debt or decades of debt because of the cost of education. So forget loan forgiveness. Like, why are people even being forced to go into debt $50,000, $100,000 or more.
Right.
We used to not do that. We used to fund our state college. Here we are in California, and they used to have low cost higher education, but they stopped investing, federal government stopped investing. So let's have a different conversation. Like, the more China is graduating, more people in the STEM subjects than all of our graduates combined.
Yeah.
And so we should be doing everything we can to help people get access to affordable apprenticeship programs and higher education programs, period, because we're in this global competition. And the more you learn, the more you earn. And if we want a high performing economy, we better lower levels to higher education.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just stir while I ask.
Okay, go ahead. You're gonna see me stirring a lot quicker as we go on. Wow. Okay, here we go.
All right. So I mean, and we're not going to get into this, but you were dating Rosario Dawson. But
Yes.
as you just mentioned, your girlfriend is here with us. You know, in the background, she's real cute, real pretty. So in this new relationship, you know, she's out of the public eye and everything. So how did you guys meet? And where does one meet a former presidential candidate asking for a friend?
We were fixed up by a friend, yes. And I first said no, I was not interested because she lives in LA and I live in New Jersey and DC. Yeah.
So you have to like come here back
But
and forth a
her
little bit.
family's, she grew up in DC, so it made it a lot easier.
Okay, so then what are you looking for during the time where, you know, you were dating? Like, are you looking for someone who is comfortable one day being a first lady? Like, is your team sitting them down and, you know, like at what point does an NDA come up or does it never come up? Are you doing a background check? Like, what's going on?
So first of all, you want to find somebody that, forget about the future. You want to be with somebody that you're present and connected, because one of the best ways to make God laugh is to make plans for yourself.
Right.
So yeah, should I ever decide to run for president again, that is a challenging thing for any relationship. But my thing is to find somebody who's my best friend now, who is my best friend, who is my lover, who is my person who can best ground me and inspire me at the same time, where we are real partners and have a real partnership for the real journey in life, which is a journey to more wholeness, more well-being. And
considering your career, do you do background checks on people you're dating? You read up on me just to come hang out, so I can only imagine.
Who goes out on a date anymore without doing the full Google search on somebody? Yeah. Although to her credit, she actually said, I didn't search you. My friends kept on saying,
really?
Yeah, her friends kept on saying, did you know this about him? She says, I want to meet him as he is. And I really...
But you had her whole story.
I got everything I could get on her off the internet. I did not employ the FBI in my dating.
That is hilarious. So because of your career, I feel like dating for you is probably very different, I would imagine.
I mean, it's more tough just because of the like, I've gone on a first date with somebody and some photographer in a New York restaurant takes a picture and I'm on page 6, you know, so it definitely is harder. Yeah. But I feel like this relationship has been great. You know, we met over a year ago, and it's just developed in a wonderful way where she and I have had time to focus on us.
Is she vegan?
She's not a vegan.
How does that work?
I'm sure she was cheering when she heard you talking about ribs and everything like that. No, she's not a vegan.
So for dinner, you guys have to have like separate orders or separate meals, like?
It's not as hard as you might think, you know.
Yeah.
And she's okay with eating a vegan meal from time to time, but it's not as hard. When you go to a restaurant, she orders what she wants, and I order what I want. And if we're cooking, she's tolerant of my vegan.
What does she do for a living?
She's in real estate.
Oh, so that's a good match. Do you have ambitions to get married in the future?
I have very big ambitions to get married. Yeah, I mean, my ambition is I think that I want to be married. I still want to have kids. Yeah. Yeah. Really? Can I come to the wedding? You know, you should not be having this conversation with me. You should be having this conversation with her.
Well, because you know, you were in your initial. In 2020, when you were running, you were technically like the only, and I say this loosely, bachelor. And in traditionally, like the ideal candidate has like the family and the wife and this. So was that tough for you? Like, or were people kind of like, no, he's not a good candidate? Like, was that even like a factor in terms of determining
It never
that?
seemed to come up.
Okay.
But
it would for a woman, right?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It would. There are definitely double standards I see all the time for women senators that men senators don't have to face, and definitely for presidential candidates.
Yeah, because I think about, for women, as soon as women like hit their 30s, it's like, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? And, all of that. But so I have to ask you.
But I also hear the question that I see my female friends get that I don't get is like, how are you going to balance a career and children?
Yeah.
And nobody really asks me that question.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you.
Okay. Okay.
So for you as, a 56-year-old man,
Yes.
right? So why aren't you married with kids yet?
Because.
Or why didn't that happen for you?
Because I haven't met the right person. I didn't meet the right person at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe I shouldn't say that actually, because I met some great people, but I wasn't the right person too. I'm so happy that both me and my significant other now, if we had met each other 5 years ago, I don't think we would have connected like we're connecting now.
What makes you think you're the right person now, and vice versa, that she could potentially?
Well, first, you're making me sweat.
You're sweating.
Why is this the most tough? I do interviews all the time.
I know, you just answered
It's suddenly
all
getting hot in
these
this
things.
kitchen, people.
All of a sudden, it's a little hot for you.
I feel sorry for the people that dated me when I was mayor.
Okay.
I shouldn't say I feel sorry for them. I just feel like I was not a good, I didn't
Partner.
prioritize relationships. I
Okay.
was so, Newark was my relationship and everything else was secondary. And I think I made a mistake in life then. There's no mistakes. It's all growth and learning.
Right.
But I thought that happiness was a byproduct of being in your purpose. And that I could put off that joy and now I sort of, as a senator, I realized, wait a minute, be happy now. Find your joy now. Like, I'm much more deliberate in the community I cultivate, like friends and family. Just trying to, now is the time that you should have meaningful relationships. Now is the time you should honor your friends and your significant other. What you do actually can become, I thought that would weaken me in my professional work. It has empowered me. It's made me dating her has made me so much of a better senator.
Oh, girl, you hear that? But does that...
I should say a better human being.
Yeah. But is that because you're older, though? And I feel like, again, because you're a man, you kind of have that leeway to be like, you know what, now I can. So, but for other people who do want that, family life or want to bear children and all that, there's kind of like a clock. Yeah. On some of that.
But there's also we should all over ourselves too much. I'm 40, so I should this, I should that. We need to all be easier on ourselves. And why does this model of I have friends of mine that have chosen to have kids without a spouse and they're thriving and they've found their joy and their connection. We throw too much judgment. Interrogate yourself. Don't interrogate other people's choices. For me, I love this just for my own spiritual well-being. I remind myself all the time, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm exactly where God has wanted me so I can learn the lessons I need to learn, make the contributions I need to make, love, to be a source of love in the world in the way that I feel I'm called to be.
Would you move to LA, or are you so Newark?
I am New Jersey senator. If you cut me, I bleed Jersey. I am not leaving my state.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing. She and I had to have that conversation.
Yeah. So what is it going to be? Bi-coastal? Or is she going to move?
No, she's moved to the East Coast.
Oh,
now.
she's moved.
Yeah, she's moved to the East Coast,
look at you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's the next step here?
I want to announce something here. I love the shade room, but I'm going to keep my plans with my significant other between the two of us. Should we have anything to announce publicly, we will.
So I'm going to play one game with you.
Please.
I'm going to give you the name of someone.
Okay.
And I want you to describe them in less than 10 words.
In less than 10 words?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. First person, Barack Obama.
Extraordinary human who served us so well.
Beautiful. I wasn't counting, but I'm taking your word that was less than 10. Jasmine Crockett.
Dynamic, powerful, prodigiously purposeful person.
Wow, these words are amazing. Kamala Harris.
My sister, who lives in service of others.
Beautiful. Elon Musk.
Whew. You see, I was raised in the church.
The vocabulary went out the window.
Defend people against him and pray that God guides his life.
Ooh, okay. All right. Donald Trump.
Disastrously destructive, demeaning, degrading, narcissist who is making a way for the next generation of leadership who will do so much better.
Okay, Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt.
Just praying for her. Just praying for her. Just praying for the system.
Sexy Red. Do you know who that is?
Red and sexy.
Kim Kardashian.
Extraordinary person who's used their platform to change the criminal justice, to bring more justice to the criminal justice system. I so respect her for how she went to law school and has become a champion for dealing with the deep injustices within our criminal justice. I've come to have a lot of respect for her.
I love Kimmy Cakes. Michelle Obama.
I used to joke before I met my significant other that, like, you know, Michelle, why didn't you marry me? No. I'd be president right now.
Hilarious.
One of the most extraordinary humans I've ever met.
Kanye West.
Like his music.
Like his music. Okay, last one, Diddy.
May the truth be known and justice done.
Amen. Amen. Have you been following that child? Or the story?
It's hard not to follow it because it's popping up everywhere, but I can't say I'm all up in the details.
As someone who has like a legal background, like, just what are your general thoughts?
I mean, again, I don't know enough about it, but clearly he has broken a lot of laws. I mean, just the beat down by those elevators, the fact that no actions were taken by that is allowed his criminality to continue. But it's hard to prove a RICO case.
It is hard to prove.
It's very hard to prove a RICO case.
That's what the streets are saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so our vegan no-bake Snicker bar is freezing right now. Yes. It's almost done. But in the meantime, I'm going to play one last game with you, okay?
Okay. Do I need to sit down for this?
You can. Okay. If you can.
Is there a buzzer I push if I know the answer?
Well, no.
Good question. Good answer. Good answer. No whammy. Big bucks. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to make you dance, but I hear you don't like to dance. So
I love to dance, but alone.
So I now give you a choice here.
Okay.
I can either A, ask you the questions one at a time and you can plead the fifth. Okay. Or I can ask you all the questions and you can choose which three you want to plead the fifth.
That is, full disclosure is always better.
Okay. So I'm going to go with my first option and just ask you each
all right. Let me get the knife away.
Okay, first question. Sing your go-to karaoke song.
I just discovered my go-to karaoke song, and because I can't sing well. I sing all the time.
Okay.
But you may not know the song.
That's okay.
But I think I could do it.
Just do like 2 bars of it.
There you see her sitting there across the room. She don't have a lot to say, but there's something about her. You don't know why, but you're dying to try. You want to kiss the girl.
Oh, that's
la 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 la. Don't be shy. You know you're dying to try. You want to kiss the girl.
That's from Little Mermaid.
Yes.
I was like, does this song have an accent? I didn't catch it for a second.
I had to do the accent.
Love it.
Yes, okay.
Oh,
okay.
Look at you. You still have your 3.
How was that? How was I on tune?
That was good.
Because my girlfriend says I never hit a tune. I hit a tune, but not the right tune. I'm not on key.
That's an easy song to not miss a beat for.
Yes.
So you lucked out there.
All right.
All right. So if we went through your phone right now, who's the most unexpected contact you have?
The most unexpected contact would be a lot of my Republican colleagues. I think people would be surprised at how often I call them to try to collaborate on something, to try to find some common ground.
All right. Which celebrity have you slid into the DMs of, and what did you say?
Wow. Like, so now I routinely will DM influencers whose content I've been leaning on a lot since this last time Trump got elected. because I just think that what we do makes more of an impact than we know. So a lot of influencers I slip into the DMs of and just say, thank you for your content, or God, this post was really meaningful to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's someone famous you've dated or gone on a date with that we don't know about?
This is going to make some news, I guess, but years ago, I was set up on sort of a blind date with Mariah Carey.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah. It was one of those times where you just know you're in the presence of somebody that has a grandeur about them. And I'm not talking about her talent, but she just has this light. And we laughed and had a good time. It was clearly not a love match, but
Why wasn't it a love match? Why didn't it work out? No second date? I have questions.
It was an experience, and it was wonderful, because I think at first I just knew her from afar, but once the conversation, we started opening up to each other, it was, she's just a good human being.
I love that.
Like I almost wish that, like I just actually took my girlfriend and my mom together to see her in Vegas.
Did you say hi?
I did not say hi.
Does she remember? Do you know?
I've seen her since then,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen her out and about, and she's been gracious and kind.
Yeah. Would she A, corroborate this story, or B, her infamous, I don't know him?
Now
When
suddenly
she hears this, which way is she going?
Now suddenly I feel some kind of way. But her brother or cousin was there too. There were witnesses. Don't deny me, Mariah. Don't deny me now.
I love that. Such a good story.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. So I definitely thought you'd plead the fifth on that one, but no,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
so
getting
happy
stuff
you
out of me
did
on this.
it.
Things
I'm
I've
so
never said
happy.
publicly. I'm afraid. Go ahead.
If your browser history was leaked right now, what would embarrass you the most?
Oh my God. Some of the stuff that, I'm a nerd, and I'm always like saying, do I remember this historical fact right, or whatever? But I think, look, I am a sci-fi addict, and so there would be a lot. If you went on my For You page, you would see a lot of Star Trek and Marvel. So I love like sort of sci-fi and superhero movies.
Really? Who's your favorite superhero?
So, first of all, I've been binging in this last season of a show called Invincible, which is this cartoon, but an adult cartoon. You know that, right? There's some of the people behind here that know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Isn't it really, really good? The best, the best, yes.
Really?
Oh
I'm
my gosh,
into that.
yeah. I'll do everything from that to The Residents. Like that was a great.
Did you ever watch Scandal?
So, the genius that she is like I love that. She's one of the greatest creators I've ever met.
Yes,
like
Shonda Rhimes, yes.
No, she is. I almost don't. She should get some kind of title. Like she is one of the great gifts to the culture at large, but to the Black culture, and that's why I thought The Residents was so powerful. That you had this leading African American woman, and nothing was made about her being an African American woman. She was just a particular genius. So I know Shonda. She's one of those people that when you meet her, she has I'm going to put her on the same. She's on the same level to me as a Ketanji Brown Jackson. Like when I met that Supreme Court justice, you walk away saying, God has touched this person in a special kind of a way. And so I love her stuff, but I have to tell you this because I know a lot of the people who act in that. I have not watched Scandal all the way through.
No?
I've seen some episodes, but I've not binged it.
From what you have seen, how similar is it to like the political White House space? Because Millie Grant, who is the president's wife, she did a filibuster. She stood up there for, I don't remember how many hours it was.
There were definitely nods to what's real.
Right.
And I think that's what makes Shonda so special. But more than the facts being real, of like this is, she draws on the threads of the human condition in a way and weaves them into something that everybody can relate to, whether you're coming at it from Black culture, whether you're coming from it from a loving of good art. She's been able to be, as an artist, something that is so accessible to everybody, that brings people in and has a very human experience.
Awesome. Well, you passed. You passed.
Did I? That's great.
I do have one more question, but I don't know.
I'm afraid, and I still have some fifths.
You do. Okay.
you can't even ask me the question with a straight face. I am definitely scared.
Okay. If you had to choose.
Yes.
Had to choose.
Yes.
Remember, you could plead the fifth.
Yes.
Someone in the political space who's likely to okay.
Are you going to plead the fifth on the question? Because you don't have to ask me. You don't have to ask me.
Okay, so if you had to choose someone in the political space who is likely to be brought up in the courtroom during Diddy's trial, who would you say? And I could give you a list to choose from, or you could just say anyone.
Listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
But I just remember when Donald Trump and all these people on the right were in their conspiracy rooms, were talking about, oh, release the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, I'm going to release it. And then all of a sudden they didn't.
Yeah.
And so these kind of things make me always wonder, powerful, wealthy people who are trying to shut down stuff, I worry about it. But again, this stuff is distracting us from the millions of people that might lose health care, the millions of people that lose food support. So I just pray for folk. You know, I pray for folk, and I'm focusing on what we can do right now to help folk out.
That was a great answer, Senator.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk about politically correct.
Oh my
yes,
God.
I love that. That was good. That was so good. All right, let's see what this tastes like.
I can't believe you got me to sing. This woman is a talented. You are a talented. I'm going to call Oprah up and tell her she's got some serious competition.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. Thank you.
All
right, look at this.
Oh my gosh.
What do you eat for fun? That's.
This would be fun.
This would be fun?
Yeah, I definitely have a sweet tooth. I have a problem. Give me a vegan cupcake or.
I've had, vegan cake before. It's not horrible. It's
no,
not
it's
the
not.
best.
Well,
it's
some,
horrible.
but it's like cake in general. It's like,
yeah. I'm gonna take you up, Roomies. You heard. I'll follow up with you. Let you know if we go to the vegan spot.
I think we go to the vegan spot.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we definitely go to the vegan spot.
Have to now.
Should we pinky? How do we do this?
Pinky swear. My name means promise.
Oh.
So you can't break a promise when you make one to me.
All right.
Just saying. All right, let's give this a try. Ready?
I think you should try an end piece that doesn't have as much peanut butter.
Yeah.
More chocolate than peanut butter.
There we go.
And I'll take this spot right here.
Well, I'm nervous. Okay, it doesn't smell peanut buttery. Is it good?
Oh my God, that's good. Oh my God, come on, this is really good.
It is good. Hold on. It's not too peanut buttery.
No.
I can appreciate that. It's actually really good.
Okay, I'm serious. I hope people will make it and tag me.
No, you have to. Roomies, make it, tag the senator, and he might repost you in his stories, but don't quote me on that.
But if I see myself tagged on Instagram, that's where I hang out most.
Yeah.
TikTok a bit, but I'll look for those people DMing me this and.
No, it's good.
Tagging me rather, and I'll try to respond.
It's good.
It's really good.
It is. It doesn't taste quite like a Snicker bar.
It tastes like cookie dough. It tastes like cookie dough to me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Senator.
Are pretty,
this was so great.
You were so amazing.
You were really. This was so good.
Yes.
Did you have fun?
This is my most difficult interview of the year.
All right, Roomies, make sure you subscribe, follow, like all the things.
Yes, support people. Support our
people,
community, yes.
All of that stuff. Thank you for stepping into the Shade Room, and we'll see you at lunch.
Thank you very, very much.
It's a wrap.
All right.
Hey roommates, if you want to see more celebs stepping into the Shade Room, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel here.